Let's explore Disney 100, the exhibition. Come on, everybody. Disney 100, the exhibition, takes a magical look at the Walt Disney Company over the last 100 years.
It's my honor to welcome you to Disney 100, the exhibition. Here at the Archives, it is our mission to protect, preserve, and make available the history of the Walt Disney Company.
Disney 100, the exhibition, is a journey through 100 years of Disney magic. Walt Disney famously said that it was all started by a mouse, but it really was all started by Walt himself.
And let the show begin! Here's my pal Walt to tell you how the magic is made.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward. We're always exploring and experimenting.
The exhibition will be traveling the world over the next 5 years in 2 separate units, one in North America and one that will travel the rest of the world. The exhibition is made up of 10 individual exhibit halls. The first exhibit hall, Where It All Began, focuses on Walt's early years. Walter Elias Disney was born December 5, 1901, in Chicago, Illinois. At the age of 20, Walt began making early silent short films he called laughograms. The exhibition contains many original artifacts, including the zoetrope that Walt Disney himself demonstrates here. This device is one of the earliest known versions of animation. Here we see the contract for the Alice comedies signed by Walt on October 16, 1923, essentially founding the Walt Disney Company. The Alice comedies are a series of 56 silent films that combined animation and live action. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was created in 1927 and is considered Walt Disney's first breakout animated star. It is almost overwhelming to a Disney fan to see some of these original sketches. One of the most moving artifacts in the exhibit, at least for me, is the actual telegram that Walt sent when he lost the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. The telegram says to not worry and that everything will be okay. This couldn't have been more true, since on that train ride back to Los Angeles, Walt invented Mickey Mouse. In 1928, Walt Disney Studios produced Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie is the first film starring Mickey Mouse to have synchronized sound. With the success of Steamboat Willie, the Walt Disney Company has been able to advance its technologies over the last 100 years. I'll call this part of the exhibition the Wall of Decades. I could have stood here for hours. Each panel represented one decade, from 1920s through 2020. Within each panel, there are multiple examples of things that happened that were important to the Walt Disney Company within that decade. The next exhibit hall focused on where the stories come from. This exhibit hall was very large and allowed everyone to get a good view of the artifacts. Various quotes from Walt Disney himself can be found throughout the exhibit. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was Disney's first full-length animated feature film. On display is some original concept art as well as a prop storybook. This Pinocchio puppet was used by Disney animators as a model. In the center of this exhibit hall, there are many books used by Disney artists to create their wonderful stories. Around the storybook display, there's an interactive element where you can find your favorite film and read a little more about it. There's also a Sleeping Beauty storybook that when you turn the physical page, The page turns on the screen. The story of Cinderella is one of Walt Disney's most popular. Here are some original sketches regarding the ballroom scene, as well as the glass slipper used in the 2015 movie. The carousel horse that Julie Andrews rode in Mary Poppins is also on display, as well as this beautiful combination of animation and live effects. There are so many interesting artifacts in this exhibition, it's hard to take them all in. As you look around, you may notice things you've never seen before.
So in this painting, it's all the pretty purples and yellows of the lantern sequence. But then right over here, you can see the little green blip of Mother Gothel's lantern as she's watching Rapunzel betray her on the boat with Flynn. And then in this one, you see the beautiful city of Corona. And then off in the distance, you see Rapunzel standing here looking at it all, longing for it in the distance. And it's just kind of heartbreaking.
The Illusion of Life room gives us an idea of how the animators can actually make characters come to life. This room contains a display of many animators' models. In the center of the room, there is another interactive display where you can research some more of your favorite characters. Disney characters are so well developed that they can evolve long after their origins. Here you can see some of the movie props from the many live-action versions of Cruella de Vil. The colors used in Disney films are chosen very carefully. Here's a game where you can guess what character is represented by which color palette. Walt Disney's love for adventure can be seen in many of his films. To quote Walt Disney, "In the discovery of knowledge, there is great entertainment." The Jungle Cruise ride has entertained families for generations and has even been turned into a film. The extremely popular Pirates of the Caribbean franchise was also based on a ride. On display is the costume of Captain Barbossa, and if you solve a puzzle, you can see Jack Sparrow's compass. Hey! Star Wars is an immensely popular franchise recently acquired by Disney. Here you are able to see many screen-used artifacts, including this stormtrooper outfit, which shows signs of wear, a lightsaber, as well as BB-8, who is much larger than I thought he was. Marvel is another extremely popular franchise that has been acquired by the Walt Disney Company. Some of the artifacts displayed here are from Black Panther, Captain America, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, and many other films. Music has always been an important part of the Walt Disney Company's films. In fact, it's hard to envision some of these movies without their iconic songs. One of the most interesting elements in this room illustrates how some of the iconic songs are translated into multiple languages. The mouse guitar from the Mickey Mouse Club was also on display. The sound effects display were also very interesting to see. Who would have thought that a leather wallet made the sound of the Seven Dwarfs' shoes? Many of Disney's classic movies have become Broadway musicals, and there were some of the costumes on display here. This wall shows just a handful of some of the Disney musical scores. It's hard to imagine Disney films without the popular music. Walt Disney has always been interested in conservation and the natural world around us. Walt Disney won many awards for his True Life Adventure series. Here is the actual Academy Award one in 1953 for Bear Country. Walt Disney's love of nature can be seen in many of his theme park designs. Big Thunder Mountain, the Matterhorn, and the Tree of Life are three obvious examples. The next room in the exhibit focused on Disney's innovations. One of the most well-known is Disney's multiplane camera. This 1/8 scale model shows how the camera works. This camera was developed in 1937 and allowed animation to look more realistic. Storyboarding was also developed by Walt Disney in the 1930s. This technique was used and still is used to plan out the pacing of a story. One of the Disney company's most recognizable innovations are audio animatronics. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln was developed for the 1964 World's Fair and featured a life-size version of Abraham Lincoln. It was very interesting to see what the programming console for an audio animatronic actually looked like. Also in the Innovations room is the original drawing from 1953 of Walt's ideas for Disneyland. The next section of the exhibition focuses on the Disney theme parks. Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California in 1955, and today there are locations all over the world. This exhibit hall shows many artifacts, including Walt Disney's very first employee badge #1, costumes and ride vehicles, and beautiful dioramas of the parks. There is a small demon figure from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, as well as the model for Cinderella Castle in Walt Disney World. There's also another interactive table where you can explore some of the worldwide Disney parks. The Wonder of Disney Hall contains many artifacts from the entire 100 years of the Walt Disney Company.
Look, it's me.
Many of these artifacts, photos, and memorabilia evoke wonderful memories for so many people all across the world. Everyone, regardless of their age, can find something on these displays that they can relate to. The final room in the exhibition is extraordinary to see. The use of lighting, video screens, and mirrors makes this room utterly breathtaking. One of the best photo ops in the whole exhibit is in this room, the Partners statue. This exhibit truly exceeded all of my expectations, and I would highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that you are enjoying the content.